All right, peeps. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Hey, look at me. I'm back. There's a new person here. New person. The wild man has disappeared. I've lost my powers. I've lost my powers with the trimming of the beard, the trimming of the hair. Lost all that powerful hair energy. How your Christmas is going? How's the Christmas? How's the Christmas going? You guys having a good time? You guys enjoying the show? Thank you. Baby is so good, such a good baby. It's kind of baby that if you don't watch out, you're gonna have 10 of them because they're so easy. So guys, no wine today, no wine because it's Christmas and we gotta do the eggnog. We gotta do the eggnog today. And guys, I gotta tell you, this is my favorite mug. I've loved this mug since I was a little kid. Um, I gotta tell you guys that I am. I'm gonna finish this fucking eggnog. Whatever. I'm finishing it. I'm finishing the eggnog. Man, like I'm about the wine. I'm about the wine. I mean, eggnog's good, but other alcohol feels different. I feel so much like more sluggish. I feel like wine. I get so much energy. I get so energized from it. But this stuff, I feel like I'm chilling. What's up, Tex? How are you? So, so guys, let's talk a little bit about what's happening here. There's nothing really to report on this. I know I always have to talk about what I'm drinking. This is basically eggnog with rum, brandy, and whiskey from local PA farms. It's the usual Christmas gift. All right, peeps. So I'm not going to go too long here. It's Christmas. We should be spending time with the family. But oh, by the way, this is a fifth generation barber. They got a couple mugs on the wall, and one of them Stedman. So this is going back to my great grandfather. So, yeah, well, that's what I was thinking, guys. We can do a COVID cabal because we got our own little COVID cabal family here. Not going to be like necessarily, but not going to go too long. Not going to go too long. So look, just a couple of things here. I wanted to elaborate on some of the tweets I dropped yesterday, and just give an idea of what's coming, maybe what's coming. So we have to first acknowledge that there's always a lot of disinfo. Okay. And so we don't know to what extent reports that are coming out are legit. We don't know. We don't know. Now, what do we know? We do know that the military is mobilized across the country. We do know that the military, unlike almost pretty much every other year ever, that they are not getting holiday leave and that they're basically mobilized. Okay. So we know that there's stuff going on. Thank you. We're making Christmas great again, guys. So we know that there's stuff going on. And maybe that's just a bluff. Maybe they're just doing that to scare him. But I don't think so. Remember that in that bill that Trump vetoed, there's a little line in there basically saying that the president couldn't invoke the Insurrection Act. And he didn't. He vetoed that. So obviously he wants to keep. I mean, there's other things going on, obviously, but obviously having access to the Insurrection Act was important. I'm not sure about doubting these things, though, guys. I just lost my connection. Am I here? Am I here? Am I here? Okay. They just told me I lost my connection. You've been disconnected. All right. Interesting. Interesting. Interesting that they would say that. So, all right. Good. Good. We're back. We're back. Shot across the bow, I guess. Shot across the bow. But basically, the big debate that we've been hearing, a lot of the things that have been coming through, is that there are two paths basically for Trump's victory. Okay, two paths remaining. The first path is to basically have the state legislatures challenge it. I believe SCOTUS would get involved at some point there. Or at the very least, if not SCOTUS, you're going to have Congress get involved with it on the 6th. And that there's going to be a massive hearing for the fraud, right? We already have more than enough people in Congress who have said that they are willing to challenge the electoral votes in these swing states. So what that means, of course, is that there's going to be all sorts of evidence and everything that gets brought into Congress at the very least. Trump seems to feel pretty good about his chances there, because obviously that path seems like that path is going to be taken. And I am going to, how do I put this? I'm going to lean towards that option, because the other option, right, is the military just simply, Trump goes and gives a speech, the military drops everything, the military goes and scoops him up. That's it. Military goes and scoops him up. It's all legal, okay? It's all constitutional, because the president has the right to do that, to protect the country against enemies, foreign and domestic. And by all accounts, the military is pushing him to do that, because the military is sick of it. And I can tell you that the military probably doesn't want to wait till the 11th hour with this stuff, because they don't want to risk any chance that, well, not that it would even come to this, but they don't want to risk any chance of Biden. Like, the military is not going to let Biden take control of them. Okay, they're not going to allow that. So why I laugh about this stuff, like, oh, Trump's not going to be president. The military is not going to accept the Biden presidency. Just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So I think he's giving the system every chance. And I think that we might be in the timeline for that. It's interesting that Lori Lodd talked a couple weeks ago about how the timeline had shifted into something more positive. And I felt that too. I have to tell you guys, I know it's really exciting. I know it's really exciting. I know it's like really dramatic to think of the military coming out and kind of like a military takeover, temporarily at least. But I just don't feel it. I can tell you guys, I just don't feel it. I don't feel it getting to that point. I could be wrong, but I just don't feel it. It doesn't feel like that would be the kind of thing that would happen if there wasn't enough public support. Right? That's the kind of thing that would happen if you need to use a heavy hand to take care of it, because the psychological role wouldn't. Yeah, and Trump wouldn't want it either way, because it makes the work of deprogramming a lot harder. It creates more opportunities for the cabal to take advantage of things. I don't see it, though. I think that it's going to get dealt with on the statewide level, but I wouldn't be surprised if Trump drops a bunch of stuff beforehand to assist the states in the decision. But I think the states are going to take care of it. I think we're going to have a constitutional process. I mean, they're both constitutional, but I mean like a really clean, clear-cut constitutional process play out. Well, Trump has to get rid of Section 230 of that bill in order to deal with. I mean, again, unless he just drops the military option. Trump is trying to do two things. First off, he's trying to let the public see how corrupt the system is, but he's also trying to let the system sort of play itself out before any extreme measures are taken. So, absent them removing Trump from Twitter, which he has the presidential broadcasting system. So if you don't like Trump's Twitter account, how are you going to like Trump sending you text messages directly to every phone in the United States? So I think that we get this played out. We get this dealt with the constitutional way. Now, today's an interesting day. Today's an interesting day because I don't know exactly what's happening in Nashville. You guys heard about that explosion in Nashville? Happened like an hour ago. Yeah, I just mentioned it right now. Explosion in Nashville. Now, here's the thing, though, about it being a false flag. There was apparently an SUV there that was blasting around on a loudspeaker for 15 minutes before the bomb exploded, saying, "There's a bomb here. Get away, get away, get away." Okay? Maybe it was 6 a.m. I only heard about it last hour. It was telling people for hours to get out of the way. So I don't know if it's a false flag. The way that the mayor responded to it was kind of strange. Maybe that the I don't know what's going on. It's very weird. It's very weird, but something's going on. Well, maybe, but they was telling him to get away. You have only a little bit of time to get away, and no, I don't know that anybody was killed. I don't know that anybody was killed in this. So this whole thing is very strange. This whole thing is very strange. I don't know. I don't know what the story is. I honestly can't. I don't even. I'm not even going to speculate. I have no fucking ideas whatsoever with this. But I know it's involved with something that's going on Christmas. Okay. So we had some Q drops talking about Christmas. A couple Q drops talking about Christmas. The famous one we have Washington crossing the Delaware right on Christmas night, and then we had Lynn Wood talking about the same thing. But that's all one thing. Those are all coming from the same sort of sources, right? Because you can presume that Lynn Wood is someone involved with Sidney Powell, who's someone involved with Q. But what's interesting is that Magenta said the same thing. Okay, and this is why I like to follow these like spiritual guru people, because they have a way of interpreting things. It's kind of like cross-checking, because you have the military operational side of things. You have your own sort of sense of reading the tea leaves, but then you also have channelers and their own sort of, and they have their own sort of shit, right? So something's happening. Something's happening, and we don't know what it is, guys. We don't know what it is, but I think it's a Merry Christmas, and I feel a little bit of the Christmas has felt great, but it was a little bit midday today. I started to feel a little bit of a sense that something's happening. Started to feel like something's happening, Just kind of getting this stuff. All right, I'm just gonna block these people, fucking losers. We don't need fucking losers here for this Christmas energy. Don't need messing with the Christmas energy. I mean, look, I try not to mess with these people too much on Twitter, because you get a lot of them on Twitter. But I hope you're right. I just don't see it. I hope you're right. I hope you're right. Just like, shut up. Just shut up. Just shut up and wait and see. Guys, how much have I put on the line here with this stuff? How much have I put on the line here? Okay, first I had all the money on the line, which again, not a big deal. Not a big deal. Okay, financially, totally fine. I was probably being a little dramatic. I also, I also own an apartment. Okay, I'm fine with the finances, but we're gonna get our money back anyway. That doesn't matter. We're gonna get our money back. If we don't get it back, whatever. But we're gonna get our money back. Yeah, our soul is on the line. Thank you. That's the way to put this. I don't like, who gives a fuck about this stuff. Soul is on the line, credibility. And I've now wagered some, you know, rando journal, sports journal, who bought, you know, 90% of his followers, about losing my account. And if there's a clear cut, it's like Biden's president, Trump's out, then yeah, I'll get rid of my account, because what's the fuck's the point, right? What's the point? January 6th is the only date that matters in the short term, then January 20th, right? And I think that if we take the constitutional route, January 6th is going to be the day. And guys, here's the thing about this, right? Here's the thing about January 6th. My wife is texting me. She wants to watch Muppet Christmas Carol with me. So I'm going to keep this short. She just gave me the Joe Biden, come on, man. Come on, man. No, it's not going to happen. None of this stuff is going to happen. There's not going to be a Biden presidency. Biden doesn't even exist. I mean, I'm not necessarily saying that in a physical sense. Could be true. I genuinely do not feel any sense of his existence. It's kind of crazy to imagine him, somebody who you can barely even. All right. If I lost my Twitter account, I'll just make a new Twitter account. I mean, I'm not going to get off Twitter. I'll just make a new Twitter account. But it's not going to happen. Why would I make that bet? I mean, that's a much bigger risk to me than me losing whatever money I lost. It's a much bigger risk to me because that's a big thing for my business. But again, like whatever, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like if I was so wrong about that stuff, if I was so wrong and so clueless that I had no idea any of this stuff, like everything I've been saying has been completely wrong. I've been saying it for a year. I'm completely wrong. Then, I should I should take a bit of humbling, right? I should take some humbling. I should take some time to. But you've seen the Dunning Kruger gap, right? Dunning Kruger gap. Okay, people who don't know fucking anything think they're really smart and really competent, and then it goes down, right? The graph goes down, and then it starts to go back up as you gain more knowledge again. All right. So when I have people who are certain I'm wrong, but they know 10% of what I know, then I have to it's just simply logical to assume that these people are wrong, that they're not going to get it because I know more than them about it. They can't keep up with what I'm talking about. Trump's simping Dems on stimulus. The stimulus thing was great because it basically he put himself in a total win-win position, right? I mean, I don't think we have to overanalyze that. It should seem pretty apparent. The Democrats weren't willing to get rid of any of their foreign aid, and Republican Congress then was willing to give the money, but without cutting back from the foreign aid. So the bill didn't get passed. And this is a classic political operation, right? It's a classic sort of political strategy, is what I mean, where Trump comes out looking great and Congress ends up looking bad, but the Republicans in Congress do most of the blocking for Trump. It's perfect. It's perfect because he wants to discredit all of Congress, but the Republicans actively were the ones who, you know, they're the ones who are going to take the blame, not Trump. So it's good political gamesmanship. Trump came out of that looking so good with the American people. He looks so good, and you can just see that there's a level of submission. I don't detect. You guys remember that there was all this stuff from politicians. Brennan. Where's Brennan? Right? Where's Brennan? All these people who were just shitting on Trump and saying you're not going to get this. This isn't going to happen. You're screwed. You can't do this. And now it seems like all of a sudden they're all, with a couple of exceptions, they're all very, very delicate with him. It seems like they're trying to suck up to him. I wonder why that is. Now, some people are like, well, he's leaving office and that's why. No, I'm sorry. They would be on the verge of trying to destroy him if he didn't have any power. Do you think for a second that Trump wasn't going to lose everything? They talked about it. We're pretty much at the only point where the only people who are saying things, it's just the media. The media just is the only organization left that's continuing to cover stuff. The politicians seem to have gotten the memo. They're scared as fuck, guys. They're scared as fuck. And this rally on January 6th, what's the rally has two purposes, okay? The rally is either a celebration, but it has dual purpose. It's a celebration and it's a credible threat. So anybody who feels for a second, state legislatures, people in Congress, if there's any doubt for a second, judges, hey, do you want to this isn't about Trump at a certain point. It's about, would you like to be hung to death by a mob of people? Because I'm telling you, Trump supporters have been ridiculously peaceful. But if there are a million, and we might get a million, because Trump put this out himself, he's marketing it. This isn't like just Stop the Steal, which has been great. Stop the Steal got a couple 100,000, maybe like 100 to 300,000 or something like that. We're talking about Trump pushing this weeks in advance. Like, if you get the infrastructure right, you could really easily get a million people in DC, a million Trump supporters in DC. You could get twice the population of DC entering into DC. Okay? DC is about 500,000 people. So let me ask you a question. If you were some politician and you were trying to figure out, should I back the rule of law? Right? Should I support the rule of law that the people want? Do you want to be the person? Are you afraid of the cabal, or what are you afraid of more? What's more of a threat to you at that moment? Because I'm telling you, if they do not do justice when there are a million, I bet you a lot of them are going to be armed, when there are a million Trump supporters in the city, they're going to do the right thing. They're going to do the right thing because at the end of the day, most of these people are spineless. Most of them are spineless. So they're going to do the right thing because Supreme Court says we're not going to take the Supreme Court's not going to be on the 6th, right? But let's say Congress doesn't want to take the case. There's going to be a million people outside of Congress. Do you want to be the congressman who comes outside? Do you want to be a congressman trying to come outside of that building and trying to face that mob? Do you want to be it? Because it's not going to be a mob at first, but it will be a mob. It'll be a mob the second they hear the news. So I don't think we have anything to worry about. I feel pretty good about this. Is what I think. Okay, I want you to hold all these predictions lightly because I have no fucking idea. I have no fucking idea. Anyone who says they have an idea is wrong. They're lying. Even a lot of insiders, they don't know if they're getting disinfo, selective disinfo. And that's good. I like not knowing because that means that it's tough for him to be countered if there's so many competing narratives. But I would say that I expect we're going to get the win for Trump on January 6th. Okay? I think we're going to get the win for Trump on January 6th. And then I think after January 6th, that's when there will be a need for the Insurrection Act because the cabal will retaliate. Okay? The cabal will retaliate. And so in the 2 weeks after the 6th, there's going to be when you're going to start to see the really bad stuff in the cities, in like New York, etc. Because that's when the cabal is going to try to retaliate, going to try to stop it from happening. Okay. Now, Trump's inauguration won't be the end, guys. Like I've been saying this for a long time. This is going in through spring. I do think that spring's the end of this we'll have trials going on all year, but I think that the spring is the end of the major cabal disclosure, in the sense that people will have the sort of final phase. There'll be the last big push for COVID in the spring. Yeah, it's going to be some point between the equinox and Easter, is my guess. Sometime around there. Yeah, Wano Savin says that. Although he also said something like Trump might not be president until then. It doesn't make any sense, guys. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Doesn't make any sense. So, I mean, I don't. And that goes against everything else that people have been saying. But yeah, I've been saying for a long time that the spring is going to be the final phase. We're in phase 2. Final phase is the spring. And then the world opens up in the spring. So, I mean, look, Trump doesn't get let's just play around with this. Trump doesn't get inaugurated January 20th. Joe Biden doesn't get control of the United States military January 20th. So what is this? So they do some green screen thing where they say Joe Biden is inaugurated, but he's not, and the military doesn't recognize him. Like I don't know what kind of scenario we're talking about there. If that's the case, I'm not deleting my Twitter account because Joe Biden getting inaugurated on some green screen and some like cabal bunker doesn't really count. So yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes. But guys, it's going well. Enjoy the holidays. Enjoy this little Christmas present from our good friend Donald Trump. And take care. Enjoy the rest of the day with your family. I think that next week we're going to have some pretty big drops. I think it's going to be building up over the coming days. We got a full moon on 29th. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah, we might have 2 inaugurations January 20th, but whatever. Michael Jaco thinks that they're going to have Biden up on stage in chains on January 20th when Trump gets inaugurated. We'll see. We'll see. All right, guys. Love you all. I'll see you. Can't turn this thing off, can I? This thing won't go off. I can't turn off the broadcast no matter what I try. They won't let me stop, guys. They want me to keep going. This is like the funniest. I'm just gonna go on airplane mode.